And make sure I record. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Reverend Tami Patzer, and this is Expert Profiles, Conversations with Influencers and Innovators. And whoa, do I have a treat all the way from Australia, Barry Auchettl. And I have had the privilege of actually meeting Barry in person, but I've also taken several of his block barrier courses. He's an energy healer. And it's funny because he actually started out, his school is called the Vision School. And when I first met him, he was talking about how to get better eyesight. And so, of course, that attracted me. But then since 2020, Clear Vision, and he's really been helping masses of people clear their blocks and help them not only just clear, energy blocks, but to help them to clear those blocks that people have when it comes to making money or to allowing themselves to live a better, happier life. And so he's actually he's known as the Blockbuster. And I love that. So welcome, Barry, first of all. So I'll let you kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself, because I think you can explain it a little better than I can. And then everyone get ready, because Barry has a free gift, and he also said that he was going to do some clearings for us tonight, and we have a half an hour, so we're going to get into it.
All right, thank you, Tamara. Look, thank you so much for having me here today. The Blockbuster title came to me because I've been clearing sabotages now for over 20 years. And it really started with kinesiology and clearing various sabotages for people. And I recognized a lot of people were using affirmations and using, like I have a block and therefore, I am a money magnet or something like that. And if we don't actually clear it, we could say I'm a millionaire 100 times, and 100 times in the back of our mind, we're saying, no, I'm not. And so what I recognize, it's not important, yes, to identify what the issues are. It's more important to clear the energy behind that so that it doesn't have a negative impact on us. And in my own life, I went through a situation where I struggled financially even, and had to use these same processes for myself. I had to clear my own blocks, and that's where I started from.
Well, like I said, I have participated in several of your classes, and I even did the long distance class where it was already a done deal class, but even that still works. And I really enjoyed recently, you actually had a class, I think it was moving up the financial scale, which is actually your free gift that we're going to be giving away today. And I did that actually in the live version of it. And what amazed me was how many people were on that call along with me and how powerful that was. So how do you identify blocks that people have?
Look, Tamara, I've been using this work for years, and I actually created a book called The Scan Charts, which most kinesiologists around the world actually have. And my own intuition, I guess, has developed over this time. So these statements seem to just come to me now. They just seem to pop up as to what's the right statement. And then what I do is I actually muscle test. I actually teach kinesiologists how to muscle test properly. And so I will muscle test each statement to make sure that it's the right statement for people. And then once we've done that, I created a technique called light body alignment. And light body alignment looks like I'm snapping my fingers, but really what we're doing is we're shifting the vortexes in the energy fields of people, and people actually feel the difference straight away. And you're right about the classes, that these classes that I run actually go beyond time and space. That was the intent. So we have people listening to some of the money classes, and we had one person last year who listened to one of the replays of the money classes, and within an hour, his parents gifted for the very first time, gifted him $30,000. And they had disowned him 20 years earlier. And he literally cleared the block around his parents and what was going on. And literally within an hour, they gifted him $30,000.
Wow.
And they're lots of stories, maybe not to that amount, but they're the stories that I'm getting every day from people who are listening to the replays.
Well, like I said, I really know that it's real because, again, like you said, energy. And I've witnessed that where I watched you with that, and I've even other people have said, "What are you doing? You're just snapping your fingers." And you've explained that, and then the kinesiology.
Yes.
It's interesting because I have done muscle testing before, even with. I had somebody do that with me for some herbs I was taking. And that was how they determined how much I should do, because I, physically witnessed my own body getting stronger or weaker. And I just thought that was really interesting. So when you clear these blocks, you're actually shifting the vortex. And some people, they equate this to being connected or spiritual. What is the connection to spirituality?
The connection is we actually remove these subconscious programs that no longer serve us. That's what we're actually doing. And so these have an energy attached to us that sort of holds us back. And so if we use an example like I am a millionaire, and the first thing in the back of your mind that says, no, I'm not, I can prove it. I've got a bank account with nothing in it. The no, I'm not is the driving force. And we talk about, law of attraction and things like that, but the energy of the subconscious really drives it. Now, when we can clear the energy of that, two things happen. Number one, sometimes people want to hang on to the old story, like I've never had money. And that's something that I say to people, I cannot clear. You have to clear your own old stories. I'm just clearing the energy associated with it. But we can drop the old stories and drop the energy. What that does is to create a space for miracles and magic to happen in people's lives.
Wow. It's interesting that you talk about the affirmation about I'm a millionaire, I'm a money magnet, because I've used those affirmations. Yes. And I know exactly what you're saying, because it's like, how people get money, like somebody could win the lottery and become an instant millionaire, multimillionaire overnight. And within a year, they're back to not having any money because they didn't have that shift. And then I've also seen where people are millionaires, lose it all, and they can just grow it back almost immediately. And so I say, oh, there has to be something to that. It's like they know how to get there once they've been there. And then the people who don't, they don't, there has to be something inside of us that does that.
What's really interesting is the I am a money magnet statement. I've actually ran a course which is called Clear Blocks to Money Flow, which is like to get people started. And in that, we cover over 200 blocks, right? And then we have a Clear Blocks to Financial Freedom, which it covers another 50 ones looking at creating financial freedom. And it's only in the final classes, which I'm actually teaching at the moment, called Clear Blocks to Wealth and Luxury, that I am a money magnet has turned up. So it's really way at the end of the whole process. And one of the things I had to clear was people who were putting rubber bands on themselves and clicking themselves every time that they didn't think they were a money magnet, and actually creating a physical pain. I don't know if you remember in the 80s and 90s, we had these little elastic bands that people were snapping themselves with. And I don't believe that that is the way we need to go. You know, we need to actually clear the energy of it, not harm ourselves and punish ourselves for not believing.
That really is interesting, because the things that we do to ourselves, and like I said, I've taken your classes, and it's like there is an instant, when you do the clearings, there is like an instant change in
Yes.
it. And even the way that people talk and say it, you can hear it in their voice when they
Yes.
actually have whatever that shift is with that. So what is the biggest change that you've seen that people have had?
Financially, with the clear blocks to wealth and luxury, within 24 hours, one lady came back to me and said, because of the shift that happened in the class, after the very first class, we've only done 2 weeks so far, after the very first class, she went back to her office and they saved $2.5 million. You know, that's the financial change. You know, we've had people within 2 weeks create the love of their life and to attract their most ideal soulmate. You know, and those sorts of things. So that can be different for each person as to what's the best thing, isn't it? You know, like
Yeah,
even something simple about, you know, connecting to their children more can be the biggest thing in their life.
it's not always money.
No.
And that's something that I always have to remember, because sometimes the money issues, because it's like I've got a lot of responsibilities with family, and I'm the sole support of my family and different things like that. But like you said, for some people it could be attracting that ideal person into their life. It could just be that accepting that luxury. I think that's interesting about how many people don't allow themselves to have anything nice,
Okay.
because I know that I have a really nice house, but I don't have a lot of furniture. Sometimes I ask myself, okay, what's the point of having this really nice house, but you don't have anything to sit on? And it's just, I have all my excuses, just like everybody else, about I don't have time to do this, that, and the other thing. But that's interesting. I wanted to make sure that we tell everybody about the free class that you're giving away. And first of all, there's a code. So everybody, the code is MONEY, MONEY. So I'm going to just say that right now in case I forget later. But the code that you're going to want to know is MONEY. And so keep that in your mind. Tell everyone more about this free gift that's really powerful. Because like I said, I took advantage of it and I definitely saw big results.
Look, I've been running hundreds of classes, and I would put this class in one of my top 3 classes I've ever ran. And we recognize that a lot of emotional, is attached to money and finances and things like that. And what I did is I actually combined the Abraham Hicks emotional scale with my own scan chart, so that we could take people up this emotional scale of money, if you like, starting with, fear and doubt and disbelief, right through to things like love and peace and joy. And so the process in the hour is to literally take people on that journey right through from the low vibrations, low emotions, to the top emotions within the hour. And the responses coming back from literally hundreds of people who have already listened to this is that they've noticed the difference in the hour. And so I have a whole program which is called thevisionschool.org, which is where all my programs are on. And in there is moving up the financial scale. And we'll put the link there for people. But if you use the code MONEY, that is actually my gift for all the people listening today.
I really appreciate that, because like I said, I took advantage of it, because I what I really like about you is you do give really big value when you do interviews. And I happen to watch you on a show with our mutual friend, Nancy Matthews, when you gave access to that. And I was just like, wow, that's so phenomenal to be able to do that. And then again, when I went, and I happened to go when it was live, and what just shocked me so much was how many people were participating from around the world on that show. So what is coming up now? Do you have any, I know you're in the middle of a program right now. Is it too late to get into that program, or
No,
what is?
it's not. As I said, people could come in live. There's still 5 weeks out of the 7 to go. And so people could come in live to the Clear Blocks to Wealth and Luxury. And that is at the top end. You know, there's people, you know, if money's not too bad for you and you want to make a bigger difference in the impact that you have on the world. And, you know, in order to do that, we need money. We need to have, you know, the more money we have, in many ways, the bigger impact that we can actually have there in the world. And this is really designed for that. So that is still possible for people to come in. The replays will be there. And, you know, the replays, as I said, people are creating wealth and income just listening to the replays. And Nancy had my favorite story with Nancy, and I'm sure she doesn't mind me sharing it, that she actually had a solicitor ring her after one of the classes and said, we've got $12,000 here for you, you know, and she thought it was just a scam and hanged up, you know, like it was like, don't believe this. And there was literally $12,000 that through all these really strange ways were turning up. And it's what I absolutely love is the myriad of ways that money shows up then for people when they allow that miracle to take place.
Well, yes, she actually did. She wrote something, I think, on her Facebook about that $12,000 had just shown up right after that. So I just thought that was really interesting. So people can still sign up for that ongoing class. And then, of course, they can get into the moving up the financial scale now and get a taste of it for free with that code MONEY, MONEY, and definitely go check out thevisionschool.org, because not only do you have those courses, but you have other programs
on eyesight, on health, on a whole range of things. And I actually started with eyesight. So eyesight, you know, the Vision School to me is a great name because it's about physical eyesight, because I literally got out of glasses after 20 years. And the other side that it does is really about vision of life and what it is about utilizing the 90% of our untapped resources.
Yeah, 90% of our untapped resources. That's really phenomenal. I just think that's so fascinating, though, that the Vision School, because I actually, earlier today, I printed out, we did an interview about a year ago, and our original interview was about the eyesight. And then I said, I don't think that's what we're talking about, because I had written in my notes, manifesting is what in my mind, you know, about how to, like you said, clear these blocks for different things. And
Yes.
earlier you told me that you were willing to do a demonstration tonight. Yes. And I think it's your morning, because I'm in the United States, you're in Australia. So we literally are energetically halfway around the world from one another. And I love the fact that we're able to connect through Zoom like this, because, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you still can have great conversations with people.
So what I've got for you is, if your permission, I'd like to use you as an example. And the way I work is I work with one person. So Tamara, I work with you now, but recognizing that everyone listening gets to get this cleared for them as well. If you choose, now you could choose, I don't want this cleared, and that's fine. You know, some people may have like, I don't want this cleared. So you can say, yes, I want this cleared for me, and notice the change that actually happens for you. And I've come up with 2 statements that I've never used before with any people. So this is Brad new statements just for you. So,
Thank you.
and the first one I've got for you tomorrow, I'll get you to say this, and I'm going to muscle test to see how it's. And both of them really strange that came up, by the way. And I'm just going to preface by saying both of these, I would say, are you. And so what we want to do is take this to another level for you. And so the first statement is, I am a powerful woman.
I am a powerful woman.
Yep. Okay. And so when I test that, it's actually coming up as stress on the word woman. Really interesting. And there is still some remnants, I'm going to suggest some remnants of, I've had to struggle and fight and really step up into who I am, which is what you've done. I want you to recognize you're a powerful person just for who you are, let alone being a powerful woman. And that's what's coming up, is that there can be, sometimes, and I recognize that women really have had to fight to have equality. And it shouldn't be that way.
That is.
And so what this is about for you is recognizing that you have actually achieved that and really owning that. Does that make sense to you? Yes,
that I need to own it, because sometimes people will say things to me and I'll kind of go, okay. Because I'm not, how it is, sometimes you feel like, okay, that's how people see you. But sometimes, because you're living your life, you don't always feel like you're that powerful woman. But the reality is the fact that you are wherever you are, you most likely are. Because I know I work with a lot of powerful women, that's for sure.
And it's been a journey that, I would imagine for you, it's been a journey we've had to create and develop into that powerful person that you are. So sometimes our mind doesn't even recognize that we've achieved that for ourselves. And so what I'm going to do now is, as I said, I'm just going to clear this both for Tamara and for every woman who's listening to this. And if there's men here, you can get the feminine aspect of yourself as well. So we're going to allow you guys in there as well. And when I'm clearing this, it's really interesting. There's so much. We could spend an hour looking at some of the childhood stuff associated with this, by the way. I'm just saying all the stuff that's tried to stop you from being powerful. In actual fact, one of them was a whole lot of dolls I saw. There's all these dolls, and I play with the dolls. Don't be powerful, like just have your place. That's what I say it as. So can you say for me now, please, I am a powerful woman?
I am a powerful woman.
How does that feel saying that now?
It feels more certain.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like, yes, you are. Like it just feels like, and without the need to be fighting for that or to have, to the rights. It's like, this is just who I am. And so congratulations on that. That's a really lovely statement.
Yes, I like that statement. And I'm sure everybody else listening, when they feel that energy and accept that in themselves too, because that's actually one of the things that I really work hard to help my clients and just the people I know to become more powerful within themselves. So I really like that. That's really a cool statement.
So I love people who are listening to give Tamara some feedback on what did you notice for yourself? Did you notice a change? And maybe say it for yourself and to hear that difference, like we can hear Tamara having that difference there. So love people to get back in touch with you and get that feedback and let us know what's shifted. We've got time to do one more.
Sure.
And these are really quite quick, these, aren't they? Like, and the reason why we can do them so quick is that there isn't a lot of stress on it, by the way. There's just a minor adjustment that we're making. So this is not like a brand new thing that you didn't know. This is just clearing out some of the old cobwebs associated with this. And the second one is similar. And the second statement I've got for you is, I am an example of financial success for others.
I am an example of financial success for others.
Yeah. Okay. So where the stress on that is the for others. So you're probably recognizing you're already an example of financial success for yourself. And it's recognizing that in doing that, it actually encourages others to do the same.
Yeah, what I notice about that issue is how, you know, how there's all of these gurus out there and they're not real. They're driving around in Lamborghinis and all this, and I'm, you know, I have a Prius, okay, but that doesn't mean, you know, I chose. You know, I want to be responsible and I like it because they're cute little cars and they're kind of sporty, but they have good gas mileage and I like that. And sometimes I think because I know that I need to step up into some of these things, but because I am not a flaunter, I guess is a good way to put it. I don't like to flaunt different things, but I do think that other people, if they know that if they just keep trying, they can become successful financially and with their work and, you know, in all other aspects, whatever they want. Just like what you said earlier, if they want relationships, anybody can do that, or the money or the success. They just have to accept that each person can achieve whatever it is they choose. So I agree with that.
So what we're going to do is I'll get you to say the statement again. We'll clear it. And then I'll say it one more time, just so that people can hear the difference in the voice, because you mentioned before the change in the voice. And I just want people to pick up that shift that is going on. So I'll get you to say it again, and then I'll clear it. I am an example of financial success for others.
I am an example of financial success for others.
Okay, so it's illustration. Now we're actually going to clear it. And it's interesting this time in clearing this one, a lot of this is coming about because of particularly father influences, by the way. So it's interesting to think about that at some point as well, what that coming up. And I'll get you to say it again. I am an example of financial success for others.
I am an example of financial success for others.
Awesome. And that's actually holding really strong there. How's that feel saying that?
It feels like I can embrace it more, like it's a true statement.
Yes.
It's like, I think that's the difference. Is before I was kind of like, well, I'll say it. Is it true? Maybe, I'm not sure. But then after you cleared it, it was more like, yes, that's a true statement. I can honestly say that. You know, it's authentic. It felt real.
And I can generally, I'll pick it up 3 ways. I'll pick it up through the muscle testing. I'll pick it up in the way you say it, and I pick it up in people's eyes. You know, your eyes actually say, yes, this is true. So well done. And really 2 amazing statements there for you that will actually extend the impact that you have on the world.
Wow. That is, see, my reaction is I'm speechless. I really like that, and I'm glad I'm recording this because that means that I can go back and rewatch this and look at myself, you know, because right now I'm looking at a camera so I can see you. And so I really want to go back and do this. And that is one thing I highly recommend with all of Barry's courses and everything, is watch them and participate in them over and over again. I did that. And every time I have picked up something new, because, you know, you can only absorb so much information at a time, but everybody go and get the visionschool.org Moving Up the Financial Scale course, and it's free to you because you were here. Code is money, MONEY, and definitely watch this and accept the clearings that Barry did with me and feel it the way that I'm feeling. I feel like I just want to dance right now. I'm all excited.
So I'm just going to let people know that when they go to the financial scale, the idea is to listen to that to start with. Like that's the first place. So I would recommend everyone just to do that. And then from there, you get to choose where you fit in. So if you feel like you're really ready for the next bigger stage and you want to have wealth and luxury, go and jump into that course now and join us for the last 4 or 5 weeks we've got left. If you're still going, well, but I don't have, I've sort of got enough money, but I don't really want to go to this level, then there is a clear blocks to financial freedom if that's really what you're after. Or even if it's just like, I just don't even have enough money, I never have enough money, and you're still like in the money issues of that, there's a clear blocks to money flow, which is about allowing money to flow in and out. And so each of these is progressively. So you may need to drop back, do the money flow, then the financial freedom, and then the wealth and luxury course. And we've got one of our mutual friends, Lars, listens to one of these classes every day. He does an hour, even if it's in the background, and it has shifted his life over the last 12 months.
I think that that's true because even though I, like everybody else, I just went through 2020 and 2021. And 2020, of course, was when we had the lockdowns and everything. And I did I think it was money flow course. And this is kind of an interesting thing, but even though technically I didn't make as much money in 2020, I actually made more money in 2020 because I didn't have as many expenses.
Exactly.
So I thought that was interesting that it actually was not as devastating as it could have been. And I believe I did the money flow course about allowing money to come in and to flow out both ways, because I think that you're absolutely right about those different blocks that we have I run into it a lot with different clients is they want money to come, but they don't want to spend any money to put it out. And there's not any reciprocity going on, and they don't understand, well, how come it's stagnant? And I think that might be wise because, you have to, there's a give and a take in all of this for the circles. And I really do think you're absolutely right about the different blocks that we have. And many of them are from our childhood about how we, the things that we were taught. And it's funny because I was very shy as a child, and I do remember, when my parents had money problems, that, the old adage is money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford it. All of these things that we don't realize we internalize and carry it on until, like, me, I met you. And, and then all of a sudden I noticed, oh yeah, some of these blocks are being cleared.
And it's one thing, there's literally hundreds of those that we do in the money flow one, in the clear blocks to money flow. And one thing I recognize is we all have those blocks and we all know them. We all know that money grows on trees. Okay, that's an old thing, but we still, for some reason, still hang on to it. And what these clearings do, it's like clearing out the computer glitches, and we actually then can actually choose how we want to be in life. We can choose how much money we want to have. We can choose how we want to be. And ultimately, we get to make a difference for ourselves and then for others.
Well, I absolutely agree. So thank you so much. And everybody remember thevisionschool.org, moving up the financial scale, code is money. Get that and check out all of those other courses. And it's not too late to get into the wealth and luxury course. And again, I highly recommend these courses because I've actually taken them. And again, it's a process. It's not like instant, but it is instant because the clearing that he's doing, and you witnessed it with me here tonight, and it was a couple seconds, but you really can feel it and see it in a demeanor. And again, for each person, it's always something a little bit different. But what a powerful, I loved the two things that you did today with me, because you are a powerful woman, and I work with a lot of powerful women, and that should become my new motto, because that is really what I'm trying to do, is to help people show up in their best light. And what I love about what you said, Barry, was that most of us are not using our capabilities. What was it? 90%? What is
90% of our untapped realized potential is not being used. And we've been testing on that. And what happens with doing some of these programs, we actually tap into some of that unrealized potential.
right? So if we're all running around and we're only using a minimum of 10%, we just think of how wonderful and great we all can become. And if we're able to give our gifts to the world, because that's why we're here, we each have this place and this purpose. And how wonderful is it that Barry, that you're here to be able to help people with that. So with that, any last words that you'd like to share tonight with everybody?
Yeah, look, one of the things I really want people to recognize is everyone's doing the best that they can. And so regardless of where you're at, some of this might bring up things for you. Oh, I should have been able to do this. I should have been able to do that. And I want you to recognize that every person is doing the best that they can. And so be really gentle on yourself. And what I do is, if I recognize that there's a block that I still have, even after all these years, I celebrate the fact that I've picked it up, because it's only when we can identify these blocks and then clear them that we can actually move on. It's when we don't know that they're there, that's what sort of causes trouble in our lives. So celebrate picking up any blocks that you may have and recognize there are processes that we do now to clear them. So look, thank you so much for having me on today. It's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always enjoy talking with you and everyone. Again, you're going to want to listen to this over and over. Go take advantage of moving up the financial scale at thevisionschool.org. Code is MONEY, money. And with that, this is Dr. Tami Patzer, and this is Expert Profiles, Conversations with Influencers and Innovators. And we have been speaking with Barry Auchettl, and he is in Australia, and you definitely want to spend more time getting to know him. Thank you so much, Barry.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, everyone.